Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality back with you here today to go over some news from the last couple of days. So this is an article from Townhall.com from April 20th, and I haven't read this article yet, though I do know of the situation. So it does say that 203 Democrats vote against protecting women's sports. So before I even get into the article, if anybody tries to tell you that the Democrats are the party of women and equality, I would point you directly to this vote here and saying, no, they're very much not. Anyway, let's go ahead and see what this says. So it says, when the United States House of Representatives voted to pass the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act on Thursday, every Democratic lawmaker present, 203 total, voted against protecting women's sports. So the legislation introduced by Representative Greg Steube, Republican of Florida, would amend federal law to make it illegal for a recipient of federal financial assistance who operates, sponsors, or facilitates athletic programs or activities to permit a person whose sex is male to participate in an athletic program or activity that is designated for women or girls, and to clarify that sex shall be recognized based solely on a person's reproductive biology and genetics at birth. The vote on the legislation came down 219 to 203, with 13 members of the House not voting on the measure. And here are the Democrat lawmakers who voted against protecting women's sports by barring transgender female athletes who were born male from competing against biological women. So, oh boy, it's going to go through every one of them. We're just going to skip past every single one of them. I mean, it's just every Democrat, so why bother? Just based on that alone. So it says, after the legislation was successfully passed without any support from Democrats, House GOP Conference Chair Lee Stefanik, who's a Republican in New York, said that her Republican colleagues took a stand for fairness and to protect the future of women's sports from being diminished by the radical gender fluidity agenda, because our daughters should not be forced to compete against biological men in competitive sports. I mean, we've already seen a bunch of times where these biological men have hurt the women that they're facing, and everyone just kind of seems to shrug and go, oh, well, at least on the left, whereas people on the right are going, maybe this isn't quite fair. Maybe you shouldn't do that. So this seems only like the right thing to do. I mean, if I had daughters out there and there was some dude who went through all of puberty and was suddenly like, as a man, and was just suddenly deciding, hey, I'm going to go play with the women, and was knocking people out and otherwise hurting women, and essentially making it unfair, I'd be like, yeah, I don't want that either. And I think everything comes back to like the whole situation with Leah Thomas and Riley Gaines. And if anybody out there doesn't know, Leah Thomas was a biological man, swam for, I want to say it's Penn State. As a man, was just a regular swimmer and absolutely nothing special. I think I heard somewhere that he was ranked something like 554th in the country. So that's not good. Okay. Then decided to transition to become a woman and is all of a sudden breaking every single record there could possibly be for women, even though he's not. And Riley Gaines was at the national championships, placed second behind Leah Thomas, and otherwise she would have won. And she is someone that won a lot of awards in her career, a lot of trophies and stuff for being a great swimmer, but didn't at the championships because of this transgender. I can never remember if it was man or woman, depending on which way it goes. So I apologize for that. That I don't mean to do, but she lost to a biological man. And it caused a whole bunch of controversy because, people were like, a dude basically won the women's sports, and the leftist media just seems to be going, again, nah, no problem. Totally fine. Nothing to see here, So let's go on with the article. It says, in the face of a woke agenda that is taking away long fought for protections for women in sports, House Republicans took action through the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act to ensure our children have an even playing field in competitive sports, so our daughters will grow up in a generation where their hard work and dedication pays off in competition. And yeah, what I would say about that too is, I mean, for all the people on the left that may listen to this that are going, oh, you're just this or that, or you don't, I'll say, okay, so let's just say that like you have a daughter who just excels at a particular sport, okay, and like to the point where, let's say she's in high school, okay, and she could get a scholarship at a very prestigious college because of how good she is at a sport, but then a dude comes in that says, oh wait, no, I'm actually a woman, and basically takes all of your kids' trophies from her, essentially. Like just like this person suddenly starts finishing in first place and everything, and not your kid. And you know what's going to happen is that a college is going to come to you and say, "Well, no, your kid isn't as good. We want the other person." Okay, I mean, sure, I'm sure the college in a lot of ways would still be interested in your kid, but it's like it's more prestigious to say I beat everybody than I finished second. Okay, so I mean, just think about that. Like, would you want that to happen to your kid? Wouldn't you want your kid to finish first instead of being like, oh well, I guess you just couldn't finish first because some dude who decided he was a woman all of a sudden took all your spot from you. Yeah, I don't think you'd want that either. Okay, and if you say you're fine with that, you probably need to get some help. Okay, so the article continues. Following its passage, House Republicans who successfully shepherded the bill through the lower chamber held a press conference outside the Capitol. And then they have that, and and then it says the bill now heads to an uncertain future in the United States Senate where Democrats are in control of the chamber. Yeah, so it probably isn't going to pass because the Democrats have control of the chamber. But again, like I said, if you're looking and trying to say like the Democrats are the party of women and equality, I'd point you out to this, where this really should say, I know it's 203. It's not all of the Democrats because it said 13 weren't there to vote. But it basically wouldn't be far off in saying all Democrats vote against protecting women's sports. And you got to ask yourself why that is. So understand that they think that people, biological men who come into women's sports have more, have more of a priority than the actual women who are playing those sports. Okay. So let me know what you think about this below. Let me know if you agree with me or not. Like, share, subscribe. Talk to you soon. Bye.